Welcome to the Crypto Campfire.
They'll give you your daily dose of serotonin, Mitch and the Perfesser, featuring special guest Shane Karpinski.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Campfire podcast. This is the Perfesser.
And Mitch.
And today we're going to be talking with Shane Karpinski. Before we start talking to Shane, let's take a look at the crypto news from the Crypto Gent.
Thanks, Perfesser. Hello, Crypto Campfire listeners, and welcome to the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent. A new bill would put Facebook's Libra stablecoin under US securities law. R3 CEO says Facebook's announcement of Libra was ridiculously stupid. Speaking of which, it's back to you, Perfesser and Mitch. That was the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent.
Thanks a lot, Crypto Gent. Well, Mitch, this one is going to be fun. What do you think?
Oh yeah. I remember the day vividly now, and you know, I started listening. I don't know how it actually came about on Twitter, but I started listening to this band's music, and I was just like, oh my god! And then because they were a local band from Detroit, so I was like, I gotta check these guys out, So I fell in love with their music like right out of the gate, and I'm thinking, okay, Vibravid, he's in crypto. We got to get this guy on the podcast. So here he is, and that's
Match
like
made in heaven.
so cool. Yeah, exactly.
I started listening to the music and it took me right back to high school because like I was super into metal. Like, I mean, that was my jam, right? Pantera and Black Label Society, and I was having a good time. And I fired up. So the band name is Dismantle, and Shane is the guitarist. And I fired up a song called Holy Roller.
Yeah.
And god damn, that the little guitar solo at the beginning, just like wailing on it. And I was like, fuck, this is my shit.
I know, right?
It's perfect. So before we get too far distracted, let's bring Shane in and get the show rolling. Shane, what's up, man?
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. It's great. We're
Great.
so excited to have you on the show, man. This is
Hell
gonna be
yeah.
fun.
This is awesome.
It is awesome. Thank you. I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. How long have you been in crypto?
Oh God. Okay, let me explain to you about our Twitter existence.
Okay.
We have no
Fair
idea
enough.
what we're doing.
Nice.
Hey, that's perfect. That's what we are.
Hell yeah.
Here's the thing that okay, so you guys listen to Holy Roller, and we recorded that and two other songs that are already done. And but I can get to that later. But we, through our producer, I can tell you about him too. He told us about these like marketing strategy people, X record company, X FM radio people, and called Unleash Music. And they said, well, the first thing, because they were going to help us now that we had these three songs recorded, and they were going to help us just start to get our get the ball rolling and get our name out there and just stuff like that.
Right.
So they said, well, do you guys have a Twitter? No. Do you guys have an Instagram? No. And, so we had a Facebook, but, it was, the Facebook page was, largely ignored for a long time. So so they kind of created the Twitter. I wasn't even on Twitter personally until before that. And all five of us can get a hand in there. So we're all just learning how to do it, messing around. So I think it was me that stumbled upon you guys. And I think I uploaded or, shared the song Holy Roller with you guys. And that's how I was introduced to everything.
Okay.
So everything's been sort of really haphazard. So we just, I'm just stumbling around trying to figure out this whole Twitter thing, came across you guys. So
Awesome.
if that makes any
awesome.
sense. So I'm sorry that I don't know about the crypto.
Don't
cash.
apologize. That's perfect, actually.
It sounded to us like you had just recently gotten into it. We just didn't realize how recently. So which is even more exciting because like our biggest push in crypto is finding new people and trying to educate and talk to people about stuff. And there's so many false things out there on the news about crypto. And so usually when we start talking to somebody, they're like, oh yeah, that's that scam that I heard about the other day, or that's that shit the cartel is using. And so,
right.
But we like to talk to people that are fresh into the space, and our podcast isn't about like crypto specific. I mean, we're a crypto podcast, but we like to talk about the people. We like to talk to you and learn about your experiences, whether that's crypto or whether it's like one lady we talked to, barely touched crypto at all, but she spent her life on yachts, like traveling around. And, it's all about that. It's all about the experiences and the fun. So
Right.
It's perfect. You're perfect for the show, man.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Then I guess I'm kind of fresh meat because you guys are gonna have to help me out and teach me all this stuff, educate me. So.
Oh yeah, we'll get you through it. Don't worry.
Heck
Don't worry.
yeah.
What was your first opinion then of cryptocurrency when you first heard about it?
I was just it looked professional because it looked like something that would be worthwhile to take a look into and everything like that. And like I said, being inexperienced, I was just going with the flow, going with my gut instinct or whatever, and just started clicking around on stuff.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, I love to hear that because like most people's gut instinct on crypto before has been kind of negative because they've got the little bits coming from the media and poking at their brain a little bit. And so that's like their first instinct is bad. So it's nice that however you initially discovered it, what first thing you saw made you feel like it was something worth looking into and something worth pursuing, because we've been trying really hard, the whole crypto space as a whole, to try and refine things and build in third-party tools and stuff to try and take the confusing part away and try to take the negatives away from it.
Well, I think that, and we're also trying to build a community that's trustworthy, right? And that's supportive of one another. So when new people come into the space, they can feel comfortable knowing that the people they're surrounding themselves with are legitimate people. And, there's so many that are in it just for the money. And there's so many that are in it for the technology. And like, I know myself, when I first got in, I was in it for the money. And now it's all about the movement, the people, and not so much about the money and not so much about the tech. I mean, the tech is amazing. That's what's carrying us forward. Right. But the people and the passion that you can find in the people, that's what's really got me intrigued and really sparked my interest as of the last, 10 months.
Wow. Cool. Sounds exciting.
Well, I'm sure that probably plays right into, Shane, what you're doing. I mean, fans is kind of like one of those things. You have this group of people that are with you and support what you're doing. And it's
right.
I'm not referring to like people that listen to the podcast in this case. Some of them are crossovers, but people that are in the crypto space and are working together for a common goal. So it's kind of one of those things. I'd kind of like to ask you, let's go back a little bit here. On the financial side, like with the band, when you're taking payments and that kind of stuff, have you ever had any like issues, frustrations with payment fees and that kind of stuff? Or what kind of headaches do you have when you're dealing with the financial side of those things?
That's one of the areas that I don't, I leave to the other guys. We all have our own little roles, but I mean, I don't think we've had, we do have a website and, we've been selling t-shirts and stuff like that. And, I think as far as I know, everything's been going smoothly. We just, they set up a PayPal account. Well, we sell tickets to our shows, and I don't know. Sorry, guys, I don't have any. I don't have any good.
Don't apologize
that's
at all.
okay.
We're just trying to feel out like where crypto comes into play in your life, or how it might at some point soon. And we're gonna,
I think it's a some point soon, more or less, is what we're kind of fishing for. So, there's you guys are obviously using an agent, yes, or a marketing company of some sort.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on doing it yourself and eliminating the middleman so that you guys can reap the full benefit of your artistry, of your work, of what you put out there, instead of having to share that and still get exposure, and still, get your foot in out there and get your guys' work out there and your art out there. But yet not have to pay somebody to do that.
Well, of course, that's sort of ideal. I mean, that's what we're shooting for, because we paid for a certain amount of time with them. They were helpful because like, just speaking for me, I play guitar. I don't.
Right.
I don't. If you show me a a financial sheet or something like that, it'll just give me a headache. So, but I'm capable of learning. So if, there's opportunities out there to do it ourselves that are, sort of streamlined and proven to work, I'm all about it and interested in knowing everything I can.
Well, I mean, now that you're coming into crypto or that you're being introduced to the crypto sphere, so to speak, there's a project out there that allows the artist to utilize the platform, right? And the platform being, let's use iTunes as an example. iTunes is a platform, right, that people can go to and pay for and listen to music, right? And download music. Well, when you use services like iTunes or you're using services like YouTube, and you're getting paid for your content, but you're getting a small amount for your content, right? Whereas with Vibravid or Beatscoin is a project that is in the crypto space, and what they are in line to do and what they're doing is they're taking artists, and like us, we're on their platform, and it allows you to monetize your work, right, as you see fit without a middleman, and it gets you still out there to people across the world, not just locally or not just in the United States. So your opportunity then expands globally, and realistically, you're reaping 95% of the benefit of it. So it's just something to think about and consider. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm basically trying to present you with opportunities that exist within the crypto space to allow you to be your own guys and not have to worry about a middleman or not have to worry about a record label, so to speak.
Well, something important too is that, like, aside from Beatscoin and Vibravid, you could go out and just create a crypto wallet at the very base level and just start accepting Bitcoin or whatever as a payment. It doesn't cost a dime. You just go make a wallet, and just like you would a PayPal account or whatever, but it's not run by a third party. So, dip your toe in, start playing with it. You don't have to start taking it for records and stuff, but
there's a lot to learn about the space.
Yeah. You have to forgive my ignorance on the whole subject. I'm starting to understand, what's going on now. So basically, it's just crypto is a platform that would take you away from making half a cent from when somebody streams off Spotify or Apple, and you can sort of just put your music only there, and
and you would be able to make you will be able to make more than that 1 cent per. You basically set your, I believe you set your rates, and then they take. I think theirs is 5%. But don't quote me on this. I want you to look into it. And I'm basically just trying to give you guys opportunity and information. Being new into the space, there's so much to understand and so much to absorb that we couldn't potentially even possibly do it in this podcast. So I'm more or less giving you tidbits of information that we can touch on later. But I think where the professor and I really want to go is to how you got started, how you got to be a guitarist, how the band Dismantle came about. Where do you typically play in Detroit? Have you done many live venues? Stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, that's my favorite subject. So I love to talk about that, but I'm definitely going to get on Google and start to do some homework and research. So I apologize for being woefully unprepared and sort of not sure what you guys are exactly all about. But now you've totally piqued my interest, and I'm grateful. So cool. So okay, you want to hear a little bit about Dismantle?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
But I'm gonna take us back real quick because there's one thing I want to touch on real quick. I'm so excited to get there, but you asked if crypto was a platform, like for the music and that kind of stuff. And I just want to kind of step back and go on a broader scale here. So crypto is not a platform for uploading music or any of that stuff. At the very base level, crypto is just short for cryptocurrency. It is a cryptographically validated / verified currency. What that means is that there's a group of computers worldwide, and this can be like you could go set up a node right now and you'd be part of this group of computers if you wanted. And what it does is those computers calculate the validity of transactions made on what's called a blockchain, and the blockchain is basically the ledger where the transactions are recorded. And this allows you to have a currency that is not controlled by a government or controlled by any one entity. It's controlled by machines. And I know that sounds weird and scary in AI, but it's about using code to be able to manage a currency without having a third party involved. So what that does is now it enables other types of platforms. And so what Vibravit is doing is using the concept of a cryptocurrency, which makes it really easy to send money between machines, and applying that to the music industry. And they're building a platform where ad money gets automatically distributed through the blockchain to content creators without ever having to touch the hands of a third party, whether that be a record label or YouTube or whatever. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that crypto is a technology and it's being utilized in different ways. And one of those ways pertains to the music industry that we were touching on. So I just didn't want to write off all of crypto on accident. So,
well, how long have you guys been, involved in crypto? How long have you been using it yourself?
It's 2017 for me, 2018, right, Mitch, for you? Early 2018, January.
How did you guys discover it?
Okay, so that's a good question. I'll tell you mine. I'll let Mitch tell you yours. And then, earlier before we started this call, you asked us about how we met, because I'm in Montana and he's in Michigan. This kind of plays all into that. So I first discovered crypto. I heard about it in 2010, which Bitcoin was made in 2009. So at the time, Bitcoin was like nothing, right? If I would have actually looked into it and got excited about it and bought even $5 worth, I would have literally, if I bought $5 when I first heard about it and didn't sell it, I would have had like $1 million right now. but minor detail. Hindsight's always 2020. So I forgot about crypto until 2016. In 2016, I traded a motorcycle for a bunch of crap, and some of that crap was a Bitcoin miner, which I told you earlier about the group of computers that calculate the validity of the transactions. Well, a miner is like a little standalone machine that you plug into your computer that it's just more powerful than your computer processor, so it can mine faster or calculate faster. And the more of these transactions that you verify, the more money you receive for doing that work. So they call it a mining machine because you're working away at stuff and you get little bits of reward back. So I got one of those. I played with it a bit. I mined enough Bitcoin that when Bitcoin hit $20,000 in 2017, I had like $15. So I didn't mine much, but it was fun. And that was when 2017, when Bitcoin hit $20,000, that was when I got like really excited because I heard about this thing. I played with it a little bit, kind of forgot about it. And then I realized that there's so much more to it. I started looking into it and I found other projects and I found that it was way more than just an investment, way more than just a currency. And that's how I got into crypto and I got excited about it.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry. The room's not spinning and you're not really dizzy. It's just, there's a lot to
We're still
absorb,
absorbing,
especially when it's coming from the Perfesser, because he's very in depth with the detail and the technology. And me, I'm more of a simplistic soul. I mean, I got into crypto. Why? Because I wanted to better my financial standpoint when I get to retirement, right? Because I'm realizing that my pension was failing. Okay, so that's what got me into crypto. Then as I was in crypto, I started learning more. And, eventually I became an administrator for a project. And then from there, I became a community manager for that project. And now today, the Perfesser and myself and another gentleman are part owners of that same project. So we've evolved. I know I have tremendously in the space. And now it's more about the movement and the freedom that crypto provides, because cryptocurrencies, to a lot of the people that I follow and to myself, are about freedom. And it's about having the freedom to choose what we do with our money and what gives our money value, instead of having a government or a single entity, a centralized entity, controlling the value of it, right? So like a stock, Apple stock, for instance, the what that individual company does is what gives that stock value, as well as what people are willing to pay for it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But with cryptocurrencies, there's not a single entity that controls its value. The people control the value by assuming a value of it. Okay. And it's global. So it's not just something that you would use here in the United States. Let me give you an example. The other day I went to Blockbuster, or not Blockbuster, Best Buy. And I wanted
Blockbuster, where the hell did you find
right.
Blockbuster?
Yeah, I know. I went to Best Buy and I wanted to buy this gift card for this guy to be able to purchase a monitor and stuff at a Best Buy in Australia. And they kind of looked at me cross-eyed and said, no, I don't think so. They did some checking and no, you can't do that. Even though it's corporate, even though it's owned by the same corporation, because of the transfer or because of the currency difference, they wouldn't be able to let you purchase a gift card in USD, right? The United States dollar, and send it over to Australia and let them use it in Australian currency. Whereas I'm like, okay, so I can't do that. But what I can do is I can send this guy cryptocurrency and let him use that cryptocurrency to make the purchase there. And it has the same value that I sent him. So
Wow.
It's basically a worldwide currency that the value is the same. It's basically based against the US dollar, but it still has the same value, whether it's here in the United States, whether it's in Australia. If it's valued at $10,000 USD, then they're going to get that $10,000 USD in value of Australian money, which might be 10,500 USD, if that makes sense, because there's an exchange rate between the two, right? So that's what cryptocurrency is in a layman's view, okay, so that you can understand what we're talking about a little bit easier. That was the technical side, and then you just got the application side of it, right? So that to me is why I'm so passionate about cryptocurrency, because it's giving the power of our money back to the people and not putting it only in the hands of the government.
Wow.
You know, one thing that I could add to that, Shane, is I'm trying to get to the next stage, but I want to stick this in there real fast because it got me thinking about it. So with blockchain, one really big application of having a currency that's valuable at the same level, no matter where you are in the world. So one Bitcoin, if it's worth $8,500, it doesn't matter if I'm in Australia or Nigeria or Colombia or the USA. It's still worth that same $8,500. You know,
right.
What that does is that enables places that are in a situation where their government is oppressive. Like, you know, right now there's issues in Venezuela and plenty of other places, but you have currency issues where the government is destroying the value of the currency. It's not worth anything. You can't do anything. But guess what? I can get on Twitter right now or anywhere and talk to somebody in Venezuela, and I could send them $8,500 in Bitcoin. And when they get it, it's worth $8,500 damn dollars. And if they want to go and spend it, I mean, now obviously they're not going to be able to walk down to their market and hand somebody Bitcoin and buy food. And so there's a lot of work, right?
Where my mind was going. That was my question, because
well, how do you use it?
Yeah, I'm yeah. I was really like, where do you say to somebody, hey, I want this. I would like to buy this guitar. How much Bitcoin do you need? I mean, how does that all work where you transfer it into the real world? Well, I give you currency and you give me stuff, Right,
exactly. So there's a lot of things that are being put in place for that. More as proof of concepts and like trying to build those steps. Like there's an app right now. It's called the Spend app, the Speedin app. There's actually debit cards. So let's go down the debit card route. Yeah, coin payments. Like BitPay, for example, is a type of debit card that, or the Cash App. You may have heard of the Cash App. It's run by Square. It's a pretty common thing, kind of like PayPal, but for the cool kids these days. And literally, you get a debit card that you can deposit dollars to, like a prepaid debit card or whatever. But you can also have that attached to a Bitcoin wallet that you can just auto convert and stick Bitcoin in there and use that. So obviously, that's not really spending crypto directly. But however, building those stepping stones and kind of getting there. That said, there's a ton of merchants people that are starting to learn about crypto and get into the crypto space that are accepting crypto just directly.
Yes.
There's a lot of big ones. I booked plane tickets on Expedia last year with Bitcoin. I don't think they take it in.
I did it on Cheap Air this year. And also there's a Ford dealership in New Jersey. I think 2 Ford dealerships now in New Jersey that take cryptocurrency for payment of the vehicle as well as maintenance. And there's another auto dealer in Oklahoma now that takes cryptocurrency for payment of the vehicle and auto maintenance. So it's in the adoption phase, right? It's where it's slowly being understood and slowly being used more and more on a daily basis. So when you look at the space that we're in, it's so early, right, Professor?
Yeah, I mean, we're brand new in this, and there's thousands of places that are accepting crypto. Like, we're just giving you a couple examples, but obviously in the big scheme of things, this is still a very, very minute amount. So, all right, so we got to switch this up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to know, how did you get into guitar, first of all, and like at what point in time? What was that moment when you realized that you had like true talent and you just needed to just do nothing but that?
When I was about 9, I was in 4th grade, and I switched elementary schools, and just trying to make friends. There was a kid do you remember all the Hit Parader and Circus magazines, stuff like that you had? I don't know if you guys are 40-ish like me, but anyway, this kid at school, told me about AC/DC and showed me pictures of Angus Young playing guitar. And, I thought this kid was cool, and I thought the guy, playing the guitar looked cool. But, all I was really exposed to was my parents' music. So I was at Sears, and I ran over to the albums and found the AC/DC record. It was Back in Black, and begged my dad to buy it for me. And he did. Yeah, and he did. And I went home, 9 years old, and put it on the record player. Had no idea what I was going to hear, and I actually didn't understand side 1 or side 2. So the first thing I did was put on side 2, and that starts Back in Black. And the first chord, that bam, I just leapt off. I jumped off the couch. There you go.
Oh yeah, we can do this.
That's pretty good, you guys. But yeah, and that hooked me. I was just like, what is making that sound? I have to be a part of this. And I was told after a while that was electric guitar, and then I wanted more, and I wanted all the AC/DC records, and it took 2 years for me to really hound my parents, and they didn't think it was just like karate or baseball or something I was going to quit. So they finally got me a guitar and an amp, and that's it. It was AC/DC, Angus Young. That's what got me hooked. Yeah.
Nice. Good old Angus and his SG.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. What was your first guitar?
My first guitar was just a beat up old acoustic, because my parents didn't want to spend too much money, thinking I might, lose interest. But I really wanted to play, because I'm jealous of kids these days that, for $150 you can go to Guitar Center, and hopefully they'll take crypto cash soon. But just weave that in there. But
let's get them on the phone.
Yeah, and you can get a well set up guitar that's relatively easy to play. Will probably stay in tune, but they gave me like a $40-$50 piece of shit acoustic, and the strings were 8 feet off the fretboard. My little 11-year-old fingers had a tough time pressing down just to make sound. And but I never gave up. As awful as it was, I just wouldn't quit, and I wanted to keep playing and pursuing it. And within a year and a half or something like that, they finally got me a more decent electric guitar and a little amplifier. So the first guitar that I remember that I bought on my own was a Kramer, which back in the late 80s, Eddie Van Halen endorsed Kramer, and Eddie Van Halen was my hero. So I saved up all my paper route money and bought a Kramer.
Paper route. Oh my God, dude, I love you. That's so awesome. I had a paper route too. How many customers did you have?
70. And it was a free press route here in Detroit, which, if you remember, that was the one you had to deliver before you went to school. So I had to get up at
4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, like 5 in the morning. And,
I had 150 customers. I know.
Oh my God.
I cannot believe your Paperboy comment took us on this tangent.
Yeah.
In the middle of your conversation. I mean, come on.
I know.
Right?
I know, right? But that's okay, because now you can only get a real newspaper on the weekends, I think. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So was your Kramer, did you get the EVH paint job? The red with all the stripes?
This was funny. No, it was, they didn't sell them. Like, you can get those now, but
I just had pictured you with a rattle can and some masking tape.
Right. No, I wasn't that ambitious enough, because that would have had to take the whole guitar apart and all that. And but you know what I did is, remember the type? I don't know. There was the typewriter tape that you could, instead of whiteout, you could, if you were typing, you could put the typewriter tape over it, and it would just mask your mistakes. I just took that and I taped up the guitar with just tape. So it was like blue, and then it had similar Van Halen stripes, and it looked really stupid. Nice. And I ended up peeling it off, within a year or so. Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
So Shane, other than Eddie Van Halen, who was what guitarist? And I mean, Angus Young, obviously. But what guitarist really captured you, so to speak? Because I know, my buddy was playing guitar, and he was really big into Yngwie, and
I liked Yngwie when that came out. It was I used to call it it was just a little odd, because I was more into the more American rock, and then this guy from Sweden comes over, and I used to call it Dungeons and Dragons music. I'm like, what's going on? Is that technically there's a word for it in music theory. It's called harmonic minor, and that gives it that medieval sort of flavor. So it was weirded out, but I loved how it's so fast. It was like, how do you play that fast? And I used to think, well, when could you, if they came out with somebody that wasn't always playing like Dungeons and Dragons music, but played this fast, I'd like it more. And
right.
There was a guy, I don't know if you ever heard of Paul Gilbert. He was in a band called Mr. Big, and I liked him. And then it was Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Zach Wilde.
Yes. Yes.
So all those guys, just and Randy Rhoads too.
There's so many good guitarists. So many.
And
drummers.
Slash.
I mean, Slash.
Yeah, I like Slash. Yeah, I still
Slash
do.
is a good one.
Yeah.
So while we're on guitarists, I'm just going to ask you, John Frusciante or John Petrucci? Yeah. Which one?
Ooh, right. That's one. That's wow. That's they couldn't be more different from each other.
No.
Oh
definitely.
man, honestly, if you gun to my head, I'd probably choose Frusciante, just because I get sick of the real technical music these days, and Dream Theater is sort of known for their, very technical. It can go off into, 10-minute tangents of, 18 key changes and tempo changes, and it just gets a little insane. And
this is true. By the time you're done with one Dream Theater album, it's time to turn off the album and listen to something else for a while.
yeah. So I would probably. That's a tough one, because I like them both, but I'd pick Frusciante. Yeah, for sure. I love that, especially Blood Sugar Sex Magic was just genius.
Oh yeah.
I loved that. I loved his playing on that. And when he joined the Chili Peppers, I think he joined before that. But anyway, that was really a masterpiece. I can still listen to that one back to front too. He was really a funky guitar player that fit in, and he brought in a Hendrix vibe, and so I'll always take something that has a little more substance over, just somebody that was sheer technical ability. Not that Petrucci doesn't, but yeah, that's my answer.
So you guys played in Harley Fest. Was that
That's
the one
right.
in the one out in Howell?
Farmington Hills.
Farmington Hills. Okay.
We played with Rat.
Oh my God!
You
Really?
played with Rat? No shit. How was that?
That's fucking awesome.
It was cool. It wasn't,
Talk about round and round shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. It was, they splinter off and form their own versions after they, are old and, sort of break up and don't like each other. So this was just the original singer and the original bass player. And then they had two, younger guys playing guitar and on drums. And
right.
yeah, but I mean, it was cool. It's rad. I like.
Yeah,
I like.
yeah.
It may not be the same, but
Yeah,
it's kind of how I feel though too. Like when I see John Fogerty get up by his old ass self and try to do something again, it's like, man, I'm only 30. So I never had any opportunity to go see CCR live at all, and what I would do for that.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. We used to have these free concert series every summer in like Livonia, when I was in high school, and we used to always go to these things. And I think Rat played one, and then there was, trying to remember the other band, but it was all metal, all good hard rock. And we used to have a blast at those things. They were the bomb back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So,
it was a fun experience, because it was in June, and it was outside. It was in the parking lot of the Harley Davidson in Farmington Hills, and they had all kinds of vendors selling stuff, and they even had like a motorcycle show where they insanely drive around like a centrifuge, and defy gravity, or whatever, however you want to describe it.
Love that
they
shit.
had all that kind of shit going on. It was cool, and
really,
yeah. But I wanted to just mention, since you like CCR, Dismantle. We cover a CCR song, "Fortunate Son." So.
Oh, that's a good one.
oh, cool.
That's one I love to hear. I love hearing covers of songs that are way too overplayed. So I gotta go check out your cover of it.
Yeah,
so much CCR, like because Fogerty sold out, so like so much of it is in advertising and stuff like that. Unfortunate Son gets used for advertising so much. And Tina Turner gets way too much credit for Proud Mary. I'm gonna say that much.
Right. Yeah. Well, we rocked it up. So we definitely,
sick.
Our drummer kind of goes insane. So the guitars follow with him. And so, yeah. If you go to our Spotify, there's a live version where there's two guitar players in the band. The other guitar player, he plays, Star Spangled Banner, and we go into Fortunate Son. So.
Nice.
Oh, that's where it's at. Okay, yeah, because I listened to probably 5 or 6 songs on that on your Spotify that day, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so hooked. But if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently? Not get married. That sidetracked my my musical endeavors quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I just, all I wanted to do was always just play music and, somehow make a living at it. But after some disappointments when I was younger, I kind of gave in to some family and friend pressure of what they think you're supposed to be doing. And, I went and got married because that's what, everybody expected of me and everything. And it just, I ended up divorced twice. So if I could have skipped the over that, I would be much far ahead in my musical career if I would have just ignored everybody and their what they expected of me. And because I'm a little different from everybody else. I never saw myself as like a family man or anything like that. So I wasn't the best candidate for marriage, and I didn't make the best choices either. So that's that's my serious answer, is that I could have been farther along, because everything sort of musically took a back seat to, okay, get yourself a proper job, buy a house, be responsible. Not that you can't be a musician and be responsible. I'm just saying that's the one thing that I would have avoided. And
right.
Yeah, which just
Listening
goes
to
back
others.
to a Paul Stanley quote that I knew about, but I didn't listen to. I just, I would have, if I could go back in time, I would instill in myself a little more belief in myself and a little more confidence to ignore what everybody said, because Paul Stanley, Kiss said, if you want to make it in rock, get rid of your women. So,
right.
So I'm not saying that's actually true or anything like that, but That's my best answer.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, don't you wish you could learn to put your passion first at the beginning? Like, I got pretty lucky. I can't complain, but I mean, I know that's one of those things that I feel like a lot of people really would wish, like, if you could, if you could do it again and just like find that one thing that you really loved and just start it at the very beginning, so you could just embrace that your entire life.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you said it even better than I could have, because then I would have probably just told my parents, I'm not going to college. Right? It's another thing that I was expected to do, and I should have, moved to New York or LA and just said,
this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, for better or for worse. And because I remember when I was younger too, I wish I would have listened to these people, because I got a lot of good advice that I don't know, if just out of fear or whatever, I didn't listen to. But somebody said to me once, well, if you have a fallback plan, you'll probably fall back. So if I could have done it again, I would have just threw caution to the wind, completely believed in myself, thought positively about it, and just went for it, and just would have had an attitude that it's not over until I win, type thing, which, now I have, but, it took a long time. I took the road less traveled to get where I am today. So anyway.
Well, sometimes that kind of helps you shape who you are today too. So whatever you did something right, because you're kicking ass.
You appreciate things more, and you have more gratitude. So that's
fact.
Not a bad thing. Fact. Yeah.
So how did Dismantle come to be?
Okay. Dismantle in its current form probably started in 2006. I'm not an original member. I joined the band in 2014 after they had, they were acted as a 4-piece from 2006 to about 2010. And then, they decided to pick it back up in 2014. And we've all known each other for, a long time. And the drummer in Dismantle, he was in my high school band. We were in our high school band together. Our first band, I was, 16, he was 14. We were called Tantrum, very, a really cool name, right? And we played covers.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, I kind of I went off to college, and, he met other guys who ended up being the other guitar player in the band, and played in bands with him. And then he introduced, and then they were, in and out of other bands, and everybody was moving around out of each other's musical life. And then he introduced our bass player, Brad, into the fold. And then they found Justin, our singer, in around 2006, just threw an ad in Metro Times. Remember put ads in Metro Times, which you are here. So just a newspaper ad said, whatever, hard rock band looking for a singer.
Uh-huh.
And then, me knowing everybody, I would go to their shows, and I was in a different band at the time. And then the drummer and I, tried again, because we were in several bands through the years, to, start our band. And we got a different bass player, and we were writing all kinds of music and striking out on singers. We just could not find the right singer. And he was like, well, why don't I call up, Dismantle old singer, and see if he would be interested. And so he came by and he jammed, and he wrote some, vocal melodies and lyrics to what we were going on. And then one day he was just like, well, why don't we just get Dismantle back together and, just add Shane as, a second lead guitar player. And I said, well, as long as you'll play, some of the stuff that I write too. And he's like, oh, absolutely. And that was it. So that's how we ended up in our present 5-piece form. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's all quite a background.
Yeah, it is. And and even though I kind of rambled there's even more to tell, but I won't bore you with all the, it'll just, make your head spin. But
it sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun together. And I'm actually looking forward to catching catching a schedule of your shows and trying to make one or two of them and actually meet you guys. That would be sick.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We actually are. We have on November 2nd. We're playing a show in Dryden, and it's sort of not somewhere people usually travel to go see a show and everything like that. But our singer is from like Imlay City in that area, and they're just dying for music up there, and especially original bands. There's just it's original bands are becoming more and more of a dying breed. Everybody seems to be playing covers now, and so they sort of made us an offer we couldn't refuse monetarily, and we just said okay, we're gonna play up there, and we're not even announcing this on our social media or anything yet, but we just we're gonna play December 27th, and there's a place in Chesterfield called the Diesel Concert Lounge, and they attract a lot of the national acts that still tour, but aren't as popular as they were when they were first coming out. So we're going to play with Buck Cherry. Everybody knows, yeah. Everybody knows, yeah, Crazy Bitch, right?
Yep.
And,
yep.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'll be there.
Okay. Yeah. So that's we're playing that December 27th. So that's our two shows we got coming up, and then we have another song that we're going to be debuting too. It's called "Better When You're Gone," and that was coming out 2 weeks from Friday, so October 25th.
Where will that be released?
Well, at the moment, we're kind of signed on with these guys to do their thing, which ends up uploading our music to Spotify and Apple and YouTube, and just basically through CD Baby, and they just kind of put it up there for you.
So we can catch it on Spotify then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, and we'll be plastering it on Twitter and trying to get people interested in listening.
My cousin's up near Imlay City, Traverse City area. They have a bluegrass festival every year up on their farm. It's actually pretty insane. I'm trying to recall the name of it, but it's a pretty big deal, I guess.
I need to try to get out there for that.
I know there's a bunch of people and different bands, and it's pretty cool. I have never made it yet. And they've been doing this for probably 7 or 8 years or more.
Yeah, well, the bluegrass guys will tell you this much from a guitar player's standpoint. I'm not the biggest fan of bluegrass music itself, but I'll sit there all day and listen to those guys shred because they do. They absolutely, the guitars are just no joke. Speaking of John Petrucci, it's not the same sound, but it's just as difficult to play. They tear up a fiddle or a guitar or anything like that. So that's cool.
That reminds me of what the hell is this band called? So I bought a Volkswagen Passat used a while back, and I always love getting a free CD that somebody left in the CD player because I love like adventuring into new music sometimes. And there was a band, a CD by a band, I think it was called Trout Steak Revival, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Trout Steak.
And you have to look it up because it's a bluegrass and he's got some fingers. It's actually pretty good. So. It's a fun one.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that stuff. I really do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So before we close out, I've got one more thing I want to ask you about. So I understand you are a Sharpie artist and have managed to turn Papa John's into Elton John. So do you want to tell us
that?
That was cool looking.
How did that come to be? Where did you get that idea?
No, I did that at I was actually at work, and it was one of our meetings, and they bought lunch, and I wasn't paying attention to the whatever boring stuff that had nothing to do with me or applied to me in any way. So I didn't feel like I had to pay attention. So I just grabbed a Sharpie and just went to town on Papa John's face, and I didn't even think about it until I blacked out his tooth, and I was like, hey, he kind of looks like. A little bit like Elton John, and then Papa John there is too. And I can get pretty creative with some jokes, stuff like that, especially if I'm bored. So,
nice. That's perfect, man. I mean, like, I'm just blown away at how much his face shape, because like on him, you just blacked out one tooth, added an earring, and put some sunglasses on it, and the son of a bitch looks exactly like Elton John.
Just like it.
And I never realized that, but Papa John's is definitely Elton John.
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah, that was one of those things where so many people liked it on Facebook, because I'm always goofing around on Facebook too. I love memes, and just the worst, the goofier, the worse taste or whatever, the better. I just like dumb jokes, and that was one of the people who were like, "You have to make this public so we can share it." And then, I ended up, I don't know, somehow getting a friend request, and somebody else was sharing it before I was even friends with them. I was just like, wait a minute, this was like, almost a year ago or something. I'm like, it went around that much? I'm just like, damn it, I should get some credit for this or something. But,
right? Yeah, it never works that way, does it?
Yeah. But cool.
Oh, shit.
That's awesome. I love it, man. I love it.
This has been a really fun podcast. I'm really glad you came on. I'm really glad that I stumbled across, or we got hooked up on Twitter somehow. And hopefully, you reach back out to us, because we would be more than happy to give you guys a little bit more information on cryptocurrencies, and, get you a little more active in the Twitter space, because it just opens up so many more doors and so much more worldly views.
Yeah. In all seriousness, I'm excited to learn a lot more. I mean, I've heard of Bitcoin, but I've heard other people talking about it, and it just was sort of one of those things that kind of made me tilt my head and go, "What? How does this exactly work?" But you guys introducing a bit of what this actually is, and making me understand a little better, it's piqued my curiosity. So I'll definitely be doing some research, and hopefully, if I reach out with some questions, you guys could help me out.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we are at your disposal. And DYOR is a term you'll quickly become familiar with. Do your own research. It's
Okay.
Right on. Don't FOMO. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, man, it's been good having you on the show. Check out tomorrow on. We'll tag you, Mitch. Remember to tag him.
Okay.
So we do this thing on Friday. We call it the crypto Twitter rap battles.
Yes.
And so it's not like rap, or like it's not actually audio, right? We're just typing rhymes and stuff like that on Twitter, throwing tweets out there, but it's right in that alley. So I think you'd have fun. So we'll tag you in that tomorrow. And if you happen to be online and you happen to see it, maybe you can throw down some rhymes and we can have a good time. So
Ooh, this sounds funny and fun. So okay,
it gets very funny, and it's a good time to just fuck around and let loose.
Yeah,
so.
and totally be stupid and just kick out some pretty kick-ass shit.
I'm picturing like one person spits out a line, and then you have to finish it, and then somebody else adds to it.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we go back and forth like this, and just totally rip on one another.
You only get like 100 and something characters.
You only get 140 characters, I think.
That's
so,
right,
but I don't know. It's a lot of fun, and it's creative, and it's brought a lot of people together for the sole purpose of just chilling and becoming friends, and getting something else going other than the same old bullshit.
What time do you guys usually do this around? Like afternoon?
About 8:30 Eastern our time. So you're in the same time zone I'm in. So about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
I'll be looking for it. Yeah, please do tag Dismantle. I'll be looking for it.
Right on. We will. Heck
really cool. Well, it was great meeting you guys and talking to you.
Yeah,
man, you too.
Same here. I can't wait to see you guys in concert. Actually, I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be awesome. So I look forward to talking to you guys some more.
All right, good, bro. Man. Have a great night.
Right. You too. Take care.
Thanks for joining.
All right.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Man, that was fun.
That was a good one. That was a fun show.
Yeah. It's really crazy, especially when you're like, oh my God, we got a green one here.
Yeah, but we didn't really even know what we were getting into, because like we knew that he was fresh into crypto, but neither of us really knew like how fresh, like if he was been in for a couple years and has been playing with
it. Not like he's
or like his
still wiping the embryonic sac off. I mean,
yeah, but this is actually more exciting this way, because I get really fired up when we get somebody who's new to crypto, because that's what we love, right?
Yeah,
we love getting people. It's all about the adoption thing and trying to.
But we were both like, ba-bam, 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 ba-bam. And I'm like, okay.
We were just like assaulting him with crypto
this guy's
shit.
head's got to be fucking spinning right
It took
now,
us like 10 minutes to figure out that like, oh, wait a minute.
We got off on a little bit of a tangent here.
We forgot to explain what crypto was.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, but you could do this and you could do that and you could do this. And it's really cool.
That's great. But what the fuck is it, guys? Will you tell me?
Exactly.
So we're sorry, Shane. My bad.
Yeah. It was
that was a good one. That was a fun one.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was. And we got one more podcast to do on Saturday, and then we have Blockchain Week. Woo-hoo. Yes, looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm it's so surreal right now. I got so much I got to get done this week. And this weekend, and things just haven't gone per schedule as much as I would have liked on the job I'm doing. But hopefully get a partner this weekend and kick it in high gear, and we get a lot accomplished.
There you go.
To that.
See what you can do.
Guys, thanks for joining us today. Hope you really enjoyed the podcast as much as we did. We enjoyed doing them, and we enjoy giving them and letting them be on your ears, right? So to speak.
Be on your
ears.
On your ears like Z-Bones.
Right, like Z-Bones, right? And Z-Bones, these things are amazing. I'll tell you what, for a set of headphones that you can still hear everything going on around you, but still hear the music playing or talking to somebody on the phone, it's pretty cool. I mean, really good stuff. So if you guys haven't had a chance, I wear mine daily now, and I'm answering the phone with them all the time. It's really easy. They're inconspicuous. I tell people about them. They're like, I didn't even realize you were wearing something. They're comfortable. They don't fall off. Good product. Definitely look into that. And if you're interested in getting a pair, you can purchase those through our link on our website.
CryptoCampfirePodcast.com.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to throw more in.
I thought you were still continuing a sentence. I thought you were like trying to finish your sentence in your head.
No.
So I was like, oh, let him finish. And then I realized that no,
he's waiting for me to talk.
So they like, are those are the ones that like sit on your bone, right? They don't actually go on
Correct.
your ears. They just transfer the sound through vibrations on your skull.
Right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's pretty cool, actually. And they send you, when you buy them, you get a pair of earplugs with it. So like if you're in a loud environment, you can put the earplugs in and still listen to the music.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I got to try that.
It's pretty cool, actually. And so now we can buy them through our website. So that's even more fun.
I'm ordering a pair right now.
You should. Yes. And that reminds me, I need to order Mr. Westwood a pair.
Clint,
but
you getting some Z-Bones.
He is.
Got some Z-Bones.
He's getting some Z-Bones from Mitch and the Perfesser. So looking forward to that. Guys, have a great night. Thanks again for joining us. We do this for you. We love doing it. We hope you enjoy it. We're glad you enjoy it. Thank you so much for all your support. We will talk to you guys soon.
And don't forget to go check out Dismantle on Spotify.
Absolutely.
Not Dismantled.
Dismantle.
Dismantle. Spotify, iTunes, probably wherever I think you said YouTube.
Yep.
Go check them out. Give a listen.
Great
I don't
music.
care if you don't like hard rock. Like, this is good stuff.
Heck yeah. Great music.
Really, really good shredding. So check it out.
Look forward to seeing them on Vibravid.
I can't wait. That's going to be a good one.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
Take it easy, guys.
Peace.